Oh yeah, guys, welcome back to the world of Grounded. I have missed this game so much, and I'm really excited to start a brand new playthrough, and I hope you guys are too. Before we get into this, make sure you show your support for the series by smashing that like button, and if you haven't done so already, make sure you hit that subscribe button. It really helps the channel out. So, to get started with this, first things first, I'm going to press down on my D-pad and change this over to third person. Don't get me wrong, I like first-person games. For some reason, this game works better for me in third person. I don't know why, it's just a preference. If you guys are playing on console and you want to change it over from first to third person, press down on your D-pad, you'll get a couple of options here, including the first-person, third-person camera. But to start out this playthrough, we are going to grab everything and anything in this starter area. We're going to go on a bit of a resource gathering spree, basically, because I want to grab everything and anything to make the early game as easy as possible, basically. So, here's what I plan for the series. I want to take things slow. There is a lot to explore in this game, there's a lot to do in this game, and I want to get as much as we can done in this. But here's the thing, guys. There is a bit of a tutorial process and everything. We're going to be seeing this on the screen a lot for the tutorial. I want to get through that. I like the fact that this is an open world game. I don't like the game telling me, hey, go here, do this, do that. So we are going to run through the tutorial fairly quickly, and hopefully by the end of today's episode, we'll be done with the tutorial and we'll have that whole open world aspect to the game. And then we can slow things down, we can start building, we can start crafting, we can start checking out all the different armors that we can get, weapons, what have you, because I plan on making everything and anything in this game, checking out all the combinations of stuff you can do. I'm really excited for this. I hope you guys are too. First things first, though, game is directing me over here to the field station. There's a few things to actually check out. We're going to go back into first person. First thing, granola bars. These guys are going to really help us out, especially if we get in a tight spot. Low on food, low on health, those will really help out. Another thing we're going to grab is this spacer safety test. Now, personally, I am not going to read this in the episode to you guys. I am going to read this after the episode's done, like in my spare time, just to kind of get into the lore, to get immersed in this game and everything. I really enjoy this kind of stuff. But if you guys do want to read this over, pause the video for a second so you can read on through this, but I'm going to do that in my spare time. This is the machine we're really looking at, though. This is the resource analyzer. And what this is going to do is, we basically analyze items, and that gives us access to blueprints, or things that we can make in this world. So first things first, let's go ahead and analyze this pebblet here, and that is going to give us access to the spear and the axe. We're also going to get a total of 15 brain power. We'll talk about that once we gain a level, what that does, because it's actually really cool. But for now, we are going to analyze 3 different items, and that is going to also be sap, which is going to give us access to the torch, which we are going to need in this episode. And that's going to give us another 15 points. And then finally, we're also going to analyze this here, and that is plant fiber. And that should give us access to a few things also, including crude rope, fiber bandages, and plant slurries, and that's going to give us another 15 points. Now, we cannot analyze anything else because we have no charges. It's currently 8:40 in the morning, next charge will be at 9:17, so we'll be able to analyze these in due time. Now, let's switch back over to third camera because, again, I just like operating this game in third camera and everything like that, but again, early game area, I'm going to grab as much as we can here, but we can start crafting some items, and that is what we're going to do right now. So first things first, let's go into our inventory, let's go over to crafting and check out what we can make. So we can make a spear, definitely want to do that. I'm also going to want to make an axe, so we're going to hot craft the crude rope. Since we have the material already, we can go ahead and just craft it right from here, and we're going to make the axe. The last thing we're going to need is, we'll hot craft this item again, but in order to make the torch, we will need dry grass chunk. Now, in order to do that, we're going to knock down this guy right here. I don't want to hit the ant. Oh. Yeah, not really equipped to fight too much yet, so I don't want to do that. We'll do that in, we'll do a little bit of fighting later in this episode, but for right now, yeah, not necessarily ready to do that. We have another grass chunk over here, so let's knock this guy on down. We need a total of 3 of these, so 1, 2, and that's it. Okay, so we have a total of 4. We can analyze 1, and the other 3 we will use for the torch. Perfect. Got that. Let's see if we have any charges available. We do. I'm going to wait on the charges, though. Instead, let's head over this way. We got this weird-looking box that's telling us to look for more scientific equipment. I think this constitutes the scientific equipment. Let's take a look at the mysterious machine. And as you guys can see, right in the middle of this, so this is actually a bathroom scale. I really like how they use... It's just really cool using real-world items that just look just huge in this game. It's an absolute... I don't know. There's some stuff in this game you'll see eventually that looks like we got a little box over there, a little juice box over there. We have mints over there. We'll go over those eventually. But for now, let's listen to this little cassette tape. Another 90s throwback. Oh my god, cassette tapes. Half of you guys watching right now don't know what this is. It's absolutely crazy to think, but let's go ahead, let's listen to this and see what this is all about.
I was a fool to have ever doubted myself. A fool like Klein, like Kaminsky, like Schmechter, like all of Ominent. I am here in the backyard. Down in the backyard. I mean, I am speaking to you from the backyard. I am tiny! I should gather my thoughts. This is a momentous occasion. Wendell Tolley official log, 89.08.05. Recording as I take my first steps into the miniature world. The sights are unbelievable. The textures, the way the light falls upon every surface, the subtle patterns in all of the objects that surround me. The grass! Even common lawn grass looks like a structure from an alien world. Wait. What's that sound? The very earth is trembling. Over there, what could it be? An ant! My God, today, the world has changed forever.
Alright, so that was Wendell Tully. Now, a bit of a handful. We'll definitely learn more about him in the future, but first things first, we all know, guys, if there's a button we need to push, even if we're not supposed to push it, you know we're going to go ahead and push it. So let's see what happens here. So we got 3 different beams. Looks like we got one that's on the fritz, so we'll probably have to take a look at that. This one's looking pretty good already, so it doesn't look like we need to do anything with that. This one looks good. Just looks like we have an obstruction in the way. So let's hop on over here. Let's chop this guy on down. This will give us access to planks. We're not going to really do anything with that just yet. Instead, I am going to break the stem of this and get ourselves some plant fiber. But now looking at the little laser beams, we still got the good one. This one is now good to go. This one's on the fritz, so let's actually head over that way. We are going to take a bit of a detour, though, because we're going to head back to the field station and scan all those things we didn't scan before. All right, let's scan the sprig. And that's going to give us access to a spiky sprig, trail marker, roasting spit, sprig fence, and plant fiber. We're also going to gain a level 2, or we're going to gain a level in brain power, which is going to give us access to even more blueprints in the form of the pebblet hammer, the clover poncho, the clover hood, and the clover shin guards. So we actually have 2 more charges now. Perfect. We'll go ahead and get this guy. Scan everything in the game. It's going to give you points. It's going to get you to a higher brain power, which then, in turn, just gives you more resources to work with. So, if it allows you to scan it, get the points. You might as well do it, even if it ends up being not really worth anything. Still go ahead and do it. But, looking at a few things here, our water is actually pretty far down. If you look on the bottom left-hand side, we have a couple of bars. So that blue bar you'll see decreasing right now, that's our stamina. The other little blue with the droplet is obviously water. The one with the chicken leg is food, and the other red one is health. Now, I see this water droplet here. This is what we're going to go for, but just to show you guys, there's going to be these all around the area. The slurp nasty water option, just don't do it. That's going to get you sick, and you're going to end up losing health over it. Go for the dewdrops. There's going to be plenty of them in the area, so always go this route, basically. And in order to get it, you just use your axe, chop down that grass, and it'll force the droplet to go on down. So then you can grab it, you can drink it, and that's your access to water. Alright, so over here is going to be a little bit tricky because we're going to have to do a little bit of combat here. And I'm purposely... Oh, God. I was going to say, I'm purposely going to get into fights. I did not expect that right away, though. But there we go. Took out our first little red mite guy. Let's see if we can take this guy out here. They're going to give us Mite Fuzz. Mite Fuzz is going to be really important. Not in today's episode, but in future episodes. So, let's go ahead and get these guys. As we can see... Oh, God. Yeah, they're usually not a problem until you get like 4 or 5 of them ganging up on you. I'm going to actually provoke this one. And get that, because Mite Fuzz is going to be really important for us. Moving on through. Let's go ahead and get these guys. What's good about them is they're already preoccupied, so they're not actually going to do anything to us. And they're relatively easy to kill, but as you guys can see, they're kind of munching on the wire, which is why the thing up there is on the fritz. So, we're going to have to go into this little cave and take them on out, unfortunately, but this is where the torch is going to come into play.
Disturb the mites, and they'll bite.
Alright, there is going to be a red mite over here. There he is, okay. Oh god, there's 2 of them. There we go, cool. Take them on out, let's get that Mite Fuzz, and let's push on. Gonna be a couple of them over here. There we go. Oh god, there's 3. Now again, they are really easy. All you really need to do is just spam the spear, basically, by doing the right trigger. You can block if you want to, using left trigger, and it actually gives you a nice little, I don't want to call it a buff, but it gives you, there is something that you can unlock eventually. But now that we've killed all the mites, now we got to go back to the mysterious machine. So let's head on back over there. There is a bit of a further path to go down that way. We're not going to do it as of yet. We would need the hammer in order to do it. So, which we have the hammer unlocked, we can go ahead and make that, but I'm going to leave that for a little bit of a later time. Alright, so now that we're back at the machine, looks like you are good to go. Looks like you are good to go. And because we ended up killing all the mites, you are also good to go. So, at this point, there's nothing else to do but... Oh, it's this button. Let's activate this button and see what happens.
My bad?
Alright, so our next mission is to head over to the big oak tree right there and see what the explosion was all about. So, before we go ahead and do that, though, we're going to go on a bit of a side mission here. We're not really going to get... Should I do it now? Or should I... Yeah, we're going to do it now. So, because of the explosion, you guys saw, like, all that pink stuff fly around. We're actually going to be able to find these things all in the world. This is going to be science, I believe. Raw science, there we go. And this gives us points to be able to use, we basically get to unlock more things with that. We'll kind of show that off in a little bit, though. Now, before we head to the oak tree, we are going to gather a little bit more of that raw science. There's actually one right by the baseball over here, I think. Or maybe it's, I think it's right at this rock, if I'm not mistaken. Let's see, are you? Yep, there you are. Sweet. So let's grab you. And now we're also going to go ahead and try to make this pebblet hammer, which we can make that now. Perfect. Now, remember I mentioned a little bit earlier, like 5 minutes ago, how we would need the hammer to get through that certain area? Well, we're going to head back there and we're going to do that now because There's going to be a little bit of raw science down there, so I want to grab as much of this as possible. Now, the game is telling us that we need to go ahead and find and pick a mushroom. We've already picked a few. I'll pick one and... Oh, God. Let's go ahead and kill you. There we go. Get a little bit of mite fuzz. But yeah, we're going to pick that mushroom and we're going to go ahead and eat it. It's going to fill up our food a little bit, but we're going to go ahead in a little and start killing some, what are they called? Weevils. And I'll show off what those are in a little bit. But first things first, let's go back into the scary tunnel. And we're going to come down to the end here. Now, we're going to use the pebblet hammer, knock on through this. There we go. And let's pick up all the pebbles, because might as well. And now the reason why I wanted to come back here is, first we have this, which we'll come back for that later. We have this, which we'll come back for it later. There's this, which is a scabby. I don't know much about those, I'm going to be honest, but that's the reason why we came down here. 500 raw science. Alright, so now that we're done with that cave, though, we are going to start heading towards the oak tree. I'm first going to go ahead and grab some of these. We're going to need them eventually, and we're going to need to scan them. So let's go ahead, let's go back to the scanner. We should have a couple of items that we need to go ahead and scan, and unlock a few blueprints. Let's go ahead and take off the torch. We don't necessarily need that right now. Food is getting low, so I'm going to go ahead and eat all of these mushrooms. And we are going to analyze the mite fuzz, and that's going to give us access to the arrow, mite hat, stuffed mite, fuzz on the rocks, and mite mount. Another thing we're going to go ahead and unlock here is this guy, the clover leaf, and that's going to give us access to a lean-to, I believe. Oh, no, it's not. Storage basket, clover table, and plant fiber. Huh. Okay, I think the game automatically just gives you access to a lean-to. That's what it is. Okay. The game wants us to basically start making a bed around here. We're not going to do that. We're actually going to book it all the way to the oak tree because, yeah, I just want to get this done now. I want to get this all done in the first episode. Yeah, that's an orb weaver. We want to stay away from that. But in order to make ourselves a lean-to, pretty much all we need is cloverleaf and sprig, which we have both. So we're going to go ahead, bypass all these other things, and let's get over to the oak tree here. We'll have a little bit of juice on the way. But yeah, let's get over to the oak tree, and then we can set up the lean-to. Alright, let's take a little bit of a detour here. This should give us access to a little more science.
Raw science in my hands.
And a web fiber, which we will go ahead and analyze in a little bit here. But, oh god, damn it. Did not mean to drop down that far. Yeah, we're down to like no health now. Oh boy, this isn't good. Alright, we gotta get inside the Oak Lab ASAP, because it is getting real dark, and that's when not so fun things come out and play. Let's put it that way.
How about I just go eat some hay? I can make things out of clay and lay by the bay. I just may. What do you say?
Oh god, we are cutting this really close. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Alright, make the lean-to, make the lean-to. Good. Come on. Cool. And we're going to set it as our respawn point. We are not going to wait till morning. Instead, we're going to go right into here, because there's nothing that can actually hurt us in here, so...
Those look like idealized geometric shapes in that pink thing. They can't be real.
But yes, this is the Oak Lab. Now, we're going to explore this a little bit. We have a resource analyzer here, so we're going to analyze this web fiber, and this is going to give us a few things here. So this gives us access to a spinning wheel, silk rope, basketball hoop, and stuffed spiderling. We also have a little bit of a cassette here, so let's listen to this.
I have isolated the source of the particle irregularities. They appear to be a byproduct of the shrinking process. If I adjust the machine to account for their existence, it should be the key to the de-shrinking, expanding process. Virgil, please bring up the readings for the irregular covalent SNPI 42Z particle traces. Ugh, that name is going to get tiresome. And while you're at it, rename all references to the irregular covalent SMPI 42Z particle to raw science.
Order received. Raw science identified. Does it require cooking, flipping, or grilling?
No, none of those. Categorization.
That answer is not permitted, according to health code standards governing the handling of raw food items.
Alright, so Tully also has a bit of an assistant, basically, in the form of Burgle, which is actually this guy knocked on the ground right here. But we're not going to bother with him yet because there's a couple of things to grab. We're not going to... That's going to take a while, I'm going to be honest. He talks a lot. We're going to have to go through that in a little bit. But first things first, I want to grab the raw science. I want to grab all this because I think he has a fiber bandage. He does. Okay, so that's going to help us out health-wise a little bit. Also going to grab those candy bars. And if I can get access to it, there we go. Fiber bandage, fiber bandage. Let's go ahead and give that to our character here. Let's drop that down to, yeah, hot 6 is fine. Let's go ahead and do that. See how much health that gives us back. But before we go visit him, yeah, we're going to get a little bit more raw science. So let's hop on down here. Turn on the torch so we could see a little bit better. And we're also going to get this guy. This is a order number 1, so let's listen to this and see what this is about.
Virgil transcription unit 87.9.5. Order number 1.
Robot, I need you to monitor these power fluctuations and inform me if they exceed acceptable limits.
Hello, my name is Virgil, and I will be serving you today. I specialize in cooking, flipping, and grilling.
Grilling? A feature useful only to your obsolete burger-flipping brethren now consigned to the scrap heap? I need you to monitor these readings, Virgil. And isn't it redundant to specialize in cooking and grilling?
Understood. Appending monitor power fluctuations to my prime directive list. Deprioritizing grilling.
Good. Now get on with it.
Reprioritizing grilling.
Alright, so I'm just doing a little bit of exploring here, grabbing a few little raw sciences. You guys will see that we're getting this one right up ahead. We also grabbed ourselves some brittle marble shard and some brittle quartzite, which is going to be used eventually to upgrade our weapons and stuff like that. You also saw me jump over a milk molar. We're not going to be able to do anything with that right now, but here's the thing. This area can be a little bit scary because if you end up going down there by mistake, that little pit, yeah, you're in trouble. There's red soldier ants down there, so that can get a little crazy. The other problem is trying to get through this. I don't think you're really supposed to do what I just did. Let's put it that way. But there is a way that you can get your character back through it. Come on. There we go. Okay, cool. All right, we're back. Sweet. Because, yeah, if you jump down there, you're pretty much dead. Red soldier ants are very aggressive unless you have certain armor on, which we'll go over in a couple of episodes and everything. But now, unfortunately, we're going to have to help Burgle. And I say unfortunately because, God, this guy can talk. But I'm going to do my best. I'm going to try to put some background music for you guys on because, yeah, it's going to be a long conversation. So let's help Burgle and let's enjoy the conversation. Let's go ahead and turn that torch off so we don't waste it. But
Where are you hurt?
let's go.
System reboot in progress. for the helping hand. I am Burgle, acting science manager for this project. I am also a robot. I am sure this all must be very disorienting for you, but hopefully I can explain. I suspect you were miniaturized by Dr. Tully's spacer device. Why are you here in the yard? I do not know. In fact, I cannot seem to recall much of anything. A recent power surge has caused a massive raw science containment explosion. This lab, as you can see, is a disaster. And what's worse, the explosion has disrupted my computing power. My memory banks are corrupted. Sorry to pile on the bad news, my new friend. How can I be of service? You are here, in the Oak Lab, built and used by Dr. Wendell Tully to experiment on all things small. This is the base of operations for conducting experiments in his yard. Dr. Tully is a brilliant scientist and inventor. He is also my creator. My initial protocol was to serve as the short order cook of the future. However, I have been recently promoted to acting science manager to assist with his experiments. No doubt my previous work experience has been invaluable to Dr. Tully. Although, now that I am processing it, I have not seen him for several weeks. And now I cannot recall where he went. It must be my corrupted memory banks. It seems you and I are both a little discombobulated. Given my best calculations, your biomass has been subject to covalent spacing reduction via interatomic energy extraction. In other words, you have been shrunk. It is likely this was achieved using Dr. Wendell Tully's spacer platform, patent pending. Shrinking can be a traumatic experience for tiny human brains, and memory loss is a known side effect. Hopefully your memory will return in time. To return to your prior size, you would need to successfully activate Dr. Tully's spacer platform. Unfortunately, my readings indicate it is inoperable. It appears to have suffered several malfunctions from the explosion. I am sorry, but it appears you may be stranded here for some time until we find a solution. Haha! That is a great idea. Let me run a full diagnostic scan on him and see what we need to do to get it fixed up. Processing! Processing! Memory fault. Code 408B3000. Ominent OS script runtime error. Arg! I am sorry again. It appears I have sustained more damage to my memory chips than expected. Without those memories, I do not know how to repair the spacer. Dr. Tully used two types of chips to back up my memory. Auxiliary chips are small capacity chips used to store project data. If you find these, I should be able to help you learn new survival recipes. Super chips are special, and they are gold. They back up full directories of my memory system. If we are going to fix the spacer, that data is bound to be on a super chip. I suggest exploring the other labs in the backyard. Return with any memory chips you find. Dr. Tully has built many more labs throughout the yard. Each lab is used for various experimental procedures. I can upload their locations to your Scabby. Stand by. Processing. Processing. Error. Files not found. Code 632C404. Cheese and fries. The lab locations are missing from my memory banks too. But we are in luck. I was able to retrieve the location of one of the facilities, the Hedge Lab. The Hedge Lab is the observation center of the yard and used for research on arachnid webbing. You will find the hedge near the house if you head southeast. The lab is located deep inside the hedge. Sending the coordinates to your Scabby. Try to find the Hedge Lab first, but there is nothing stopping you from searching the yard for the other labs. Except, of course, thousands of angry, hungry insects. That reminds me, Dr. Tully locks the important labs with biometric scanners. You will need access for any chance of success. Head over to the ASL terminal and place your hand on the biometric scanner near it. Give it a moment to sync your signature into the mainframe. Once you are registered, you will be granted access to the ASL network of computers too. ASL grants access to daily work items, nay, tasks, nay, quests, yes, quests. I will reward you raw science for each completed quest. In my science shop, you can trade raw science back for survival recipes from experiments that Wendell conducted when he was first exploring the yard. Log on to the ASL terminal over there and see what is available. Unless you have any other questions, you really should get started finding those ships. And try not to die out there. Have an exponentially great day!
Alright, so that was a bit of a handful there, but, yeah, so to kind of break it down, we need to find Burgle chips and Super chips, and what that's going to do is, it's going to help us basically get out of the yard. It's going to help us basically, beat the game, essentially. That is the gist of this. So, we're going to go ahead, we put our hand on this, so we have a biometric scanner. There's a few things to explore here in the Oak Lab, but I think we're going to do that in the next episode. We had the ASL terminal. We'll talk about that in the next one too. Guys, a lot done in this one, but at this point, tutorial is pretty much done at this point. We have open access, we have open world access to pretty much everything here, and we're going to jump into it in the next episode. So that's going to wrap this one up, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, make sure to smash that like button, and on top of that, if you're enjoying the Grounded content, the Subnautica content, and the Ark content, make sure to hit that subscribe button. It really helps the channel out. And I'll see you guys in the next one.